Greetings everyone, here's Lodrick and this is the game War in the Pacific Advanced Edition. This is my play-by-email match against KilRoy. And this is scenario 1, standard setup. This is now 15th May 1942 turn. So it's already nearly a half a month of the new year. And normally I would say latest in June, July, the Allies getting stronger and stronger. In this match, I maybe was able to achieve enough to create enough damage on the Allies that the balance of power is maybe still in favor for the Japanese. So here's a Allied ship, submarine attacking my invasion fleet, but failed. My submarine finds this enemy destroyer was on heavy fire last turn, so it's not sunk immediately, but now it's have a torpedo hit. This is maybe bad. The next torpedo attack, this time so this is a Mark 14 submarine, I think. And they failed. This is Marcus Island. My invasion fleet arrived here already. I can create one hit, nothing really. That the submarine will care much. Yeah, and my AKs have maybe trouble. The light cruiser is still bombarding Auckland. So I have always this disabled units. Let my cargo ship go down. Picked up by other ship. At least some of the guys. And most of this equipment is only simply Navy Guard units, so there's no heavy equipment, not much to lose. Now my battleships making bombardment or support bombardment. 2 battleships or battle cruisers, better to say, and I can disable or destroy a lot of units. And hopefully this is enough to have a better success. But again, the unloading cost me more or less 1 Navy Guard unit. So that out of this 3 or 4 Navy Guard units, only really 2 or 3 can attack. More bombardment, more disabled or destroyed Allied forces. And here's the enemy task force. I think they are heavy cruisers. You see, and this is only one of my local minesweepers again. No, this is one heavy cruiser and a light cruiser, and they are at melee, and yeah, they show up here. Okay. Another destroyer. This is now Wellington. This time a hit on my submarine. 1 hit is maybe not enough to force me to return. Again, this task force thinking this is no ACM, so this is my local, my intender. This is source east of Wake, somewhere in open sea. Now we have many spottings again. And this was just, I think, this destroyer minesweepers, yeah. And my airplanes out of Truk, must be Truk, trying to attack them. And there's also AP. Okay, this is something fat. Hopefully I can get rid of them. Yeah. Double torpedo hit is normally a kill for AP. Oh yeah, this was fast. Let's go. Really fast down. And there was many troops on board again. And now I make some airstrike on the Navy ground. And the Navy, the ground forces. Not that it's really much. I mean, compared to the amount of aircrafts attacking here, the damage is slight. But I won't give the maximum, support fire I can offer my units to take the island. Now we change to China bombardment. So there is no enemy air force, so I can really throw all the bombs I have. And I use only airplanes with, can carry normally 250 kilogram bombs or Ki-48. It's also okay. But latest in June I could normally start to replace all these outdated airframes with Helen bombers. And if it's now a 1B or I don't know, a 2A or 2B, I think it's not so important. It's only defense armament. Okay, more Nell strikes. Ah yeah, this is now melee. Because I have here normally Navy torpedo bombers. But maybe KilRoy just was able to hit a bad weather cloud that I don't see them coming, or he rushed in with full speed. Unluckily, I cannot create a hit on this heavy cruiser. All my torpedo attacks failed. So the next ship go down, but the guys more or less changing the ship, so the amount of troops I lose is not so high. Afternoon, so this was only the morning. More airstrikes on Pico, more units getting disabled and destroyed, and more coming. I have the feeling that more or less my army bombers are destroying the unit, not the ground forces. Flag is too strong. Again, no successful torpedo hit. So this was number 3, and I fear that this time there was no ship more my guys can pick up. Or it was an empty ship, I'm not so sure. So now we have bombardment of melee. Because my torpedo bombers failed to really hit these cruisers, now I must suffer this bombardment. Luckily it's only disabled unit. This time they also hit my air force, my air base. This is a little more shitty because they are my Nell bombers. And I was hoping that I can normally sink enemy ships or they at least damage them if they're incoming. Now I'm losing my local mine center. This is my support bombardment on Marcos Island, so my focus is just somewhere else. I cannot be everywhere at the same time. Or at least I don't want it, because I don't want to split my forces too thin. Good. Maybe this India brigade can now simply give up. Yeah. Finally, they surrender. No retreat to. And also my tanks arriving here at Australian Planet Creek. And you can see that here is maybe the point where KilRoy prepared to hold the line. This is too much attack value. I attack. I failed. But the casualties are light on both sides. Simply, the enemy is far too strong, and the Australian forces was still maybe in operational mode just to move. They just maybe arrived, I don't know. So it's time. Here's no way forward. Bombardment of Rangoon. Yet again, casualties for the British. Now the Allied testing my defense in Hamilton. Nothing really happens. And I must make the next shock attack on Marcos Island. But today I am successful. So all these forces are now destroyed. They must surrender. There's no way. They cannot swim back to to Pearl Harbor. There was my attack value was low again, but the Allies simply was totally suppressed. I also can destroy here the airbase. I lost some units, but again these are all very light units, very easy and very cheaply to rebuild. And the Allies lost 4 units with a bunch of equipment. So again, a successful Japanese frontal assault operation. Marcos Island is secured again. Once again. The question is if KilRoy is coming back and then he kicked me out again. I don't know. We will see. So air losses again. This time was more heavy for the Allies. In total 29. So these numbers are not correct, but at least 29 airplanes getting destroyed. And at least Catalinas and some Vindicators was on Marcos Island and now destroyed. I lost 4 airplanes in total, all of Nels. This was all attacks on melee, but all my torpedo bombers cannot find the target, so pity. And for the Allies, 29 at the end. ship sunk for me. It was a bunch of small 2 mine tenders, a local mine sweeper, and three cargo ships, but all very small cargo ships. Everything like this is, I think, only a standard small cargo ship, whatever you want to call it. There was also a little better Australian destroyer. At the end, it's a British destroyers. So they're very strong anti-aircraft, very strong anti-submarine, and to get rid of them is always good. And there was also AP I was able to sink with troop on board. So the American army lost a lot of brave soldiers today. Poor pity. So kill points are now 35,000 against roughly 7,000. So still, you can say 1 to 5 is the kill ratio. My Yenan army is still moving south. I move out some forces out of my base. I'm still waiting for supplies, but it's very hard to get them here. Chinese forces also arrived here already. I try to fall back with my forward base forces to hold this base. We will see. And I try to get rid fast on this border forces. And I split up a small force to the source. But yeah. I don't know more how much time I have before KilRoy is pushing here more forward. I have really no other backup forces, so I still can only keep put here. The Yenan army must come and must take care of this issue, and my southern Japanese army must take care of the center. And my north Japanese army must normally take care of Sichuan. So everywhere is a task to do. And now finally I was able to overcome the British units in Pegu. So I can move in my tanks to Rangoon, and then I can try to attack again with roughly 2,500 attack value. Hopefully this will be enough to overcome the British in Rangoon. It is really overdone long time. The blockade of Perth, nothing to see here. The Australian forces getting even more reinforcements, so I think it's really time. I cannot hold this. I will fall back, and maybe I will install a defense in these two locations so that I have enough reaction time. I really don't need all of this. Is not important. The only important stuff is keep Darwin if possible, so that the Allies have no submarine base or long distance base for B-17s to attack here the sea around the Dutch East Indies. New Zealand, no big activity. You can only see I'm lacking supplies. Yeah, this is true. Lacking supplies. But now I know how strong the Allies are here, and they are not so strong, so maybe my division is barely enough. I can make here one full attack. And this is clear terrain, so there's no defense bonus. So I maybe can kick out this Australian forces again. There's forces. Here's the carriers. So they show up again. Now they're melee. And because they are carriers, then of course I cannot really operate all of. I mean, my airplanes must now stay put down. A bunch of my airplanes are destroyed or disabled, so I cannot even use them more. But if there's enemy carriers, I have no hope for any torpedo attack. So KilRoy is now here at Marshall Islands. He maybe not really invest so much in Marcus Island. This is maybe too close to Japan, and he realized that this is too dangerous to operate here. Yeah. I was able to retake the base. I mean, not that there is anything left. I mean, you can see that he has now everything destroyed. but I took the base. My Navy Guard units are more or less all disabled. Is okay, they did their job. I can bring them back to Tokyo and then they have some sake and yeah, and maybe some fun. Jo. Nothing else here normally to see. I'm not more sure. Was there anything else? Anything else? No. I don't think so. Good. So, see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.